So here's the furnace, and you can see it's all clogged up in oil. So it needs all cleaning up. This needs making look nice and pretty. And we're going to do the nozzle as well. So you just pull it out and set up here. It's quite simple. Make sure it's unplugged. And if you try to ignite it while it's up like this, it won't go. Well, it might, but it registers. So there's 3 screws on this particular burner. This is a Omni waste oil burner. It's a good burner. It's just possibly not the best suited for. It's an old diesel furnace, and it doesn't breathe that well. Okay, so take this off, just a few screws here. Just carefully pull this out. This here works quite well, generally. Now all you do is just undo this here. Just take note before you do where it is, where the igniters are. Alright? I'd like to get in there really. I'll show you when I put it back together. But you can actually get all that information online. What I like to do is clean them up as best as possible, and you really do need to clean them up, and they'll ignite better. It's got bits of crap on them and that. So I'll get the drill and just quietly they're still like new. Well, they pretty much are new. So don't push too hard, don't bend them. They don't bend easily. But if you want to bend them, if you want to bend these, you have to heat them up. And you just get a little gas torch and you heat up, because they're designed to wear out. You can fiddle around a bit with them. But just, they're cheap enough to get another pair of Omni in New Zealand. More heating actually, where I get them, they're pretty good. And Dion's a good guy to deal with. So those there, should be right. Now I actually grab that so I don't like twisting it around. Find the right spanner sizes if you like, mate. They're in my toolbox in the shed. This is what I have on me. And I ran out of engine degreaser, but usually I'll give it a spray. Right, just spray the hell out of it. Okay, now this is interesting, because some people never have problems with these, but I do. That's actually, look at that, that's actually quite nailed. That's probably half the problem. They're not that old, and to be honest, I'm not 100% sure why that's come about, because I put them in the right position, the igniters, and they work well. But yeah, it's maybe they're not in the right position, but they don't work anywhere else. Like I said, the furnace that I've got this in kind of chokes it a lot, chokes the heating. So I've put a flue fan in, And what the flue fan does is just creates more draw. It's pretty expensive to get that sorted out too, if you want to go down that path. So this here has got 3 parts. That part, and I might just go grab another, I've got a better one of them. And then there's this part here, and you drop it, you're not stuffed because I've got it, more of them. But if it's your last one in existence and you drop it on the ground like this, you're in trouble. And it's actually quite simple to blow it, and then see, this one's actually completely blocked, and it's really easy to actually look through it if you're looking into the sun. Yep, there's a bit of grit in that, and now it's unblocked. I had a few issues with the elements. The burners went out, but the elements stayed on calling for heat, so they remained hot. And I was away overseas, and because it was the middle of summer, I didn't need the heating, and they weren't turned off. Bit of a mistake. So they run, just heating, and what they do is I think they crustate quite a lot of the oil. So I'm just checking for these, and I just look down everything. This one's probably fine. I'll put it back together and see what it does. It's not hard to put it together and take it apart. So really easy to drop that little bit on the inside. But here's the thing I find too with these. Someone might call me out on it, but until then, I just don't over tighten it. I just give it a little, it's got to be tight of course, but not, I just give it a little tweak like that, so I can't get it with my hand, so it's tighter than that. And so I think what happened here is this element remained hot for about almost a month, every day, just cooking away there, heating the oil. And I've flushed it out. I've actually taken this right off and flushed it out. It seems to be really good. I thought I'd got rid of all the issues there but that little bit of grit in there was probably enough to cause the whole nozzle, everything to go a bit dirty. Hopefully it's the last of it. Give it a wipe, mate. Knowing you, go and get engine degreaser and spray it, okay? I'm not going to do it because I fly out tomorrow and I've got no time. The main thing is I get it running, and that's pretty much that. And now what we do, put these back together. The trick really with these is to leave that just loose enough to grip it. Otherwise, you see, like, I can't get under it. And I just sort of hold them roughly where I want it. And I find that I've got to move these. I mean, mate, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I can sit there and watch the flames, but isn't it bizarre that? But this is where it seems to work best. I would like to pull it back. They say pull it back to here, but I find in the other burners I've had, not a problem, but this one and the one upstairs, I have the same issue. I've got 2 of these. So that looks a lot better. Now this is called the diffuser, and this thing here, if you look at that, it's a bit of a mess. And once again, mate, you get the engine degreaser and give it a good clean up. But what I'm going to do, for the sake of getting this done, and let's just clean it up with the Y wheel. Okay, so of course you can take the whole thing to bits, and that's fine. You can actually pull it all apart and do it on the bench grinder, but I'm not going to do that now because you're coming down in a week and you can have another crack at it, just for practice. Okay, I'm just going to do this here. Just going to leave that burner running, mate, because the camera running, because if I stop it, it'll just be a bloody nuisance. So when you come down, I want you to take that off, that whole part, and play around with it. But if it's all running well, that should be fine for quite a while. But I still need you to practice it, because it's better to do it on a nice day than when it's snowing. Okay. Because that's when it breaks down. When it's snowing, it doesn't break down on a nice fine day normally. It waits. Don't do them up too tight. Don't need to be really, really tight. I don't know, some people like to make sure everything's cranked. I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever. I've never had one just drop off. I keep it really light. See, there. Okay, it's not moving. But I know that's more forward than what it should be, but I mean, I'll give you a demo on why I do that. If I put it back, it just seems to burn out when I don't do it like that. Okay, so we're just going to see if it ignites. Now, these don't always ignite because the photo cell might be registering that it's already on fire. So if you turn it on out here and it doesn't go, what it probably is that it's registering it's already going. So what I do is get a rag with a whole lot of petrol on it and stick it here. No, don't do that. Don't do that, mate. Don't put the petrol rag there. Make sure it's a pretty clean rag. And it's all about speed. As soon as you hear it click and start, you just pull it out of the way. I'm hoping that goes. If it doesn't, I don't know. Don't know why it wouldn't. Takes about 5 minutes. So fast forward this part. So this is one burner. I'm going to go do the other one. Now we've got two. And I'm going to order another nozzle. And a set of igniters, because when they crap out, they suck. Oh, and if you are bending the nozzles around, did I mention it, you got to heat them up red hot and then just move them while they're red hot with a gas torch, and that works. Oh, okay. Make sure you plug it in, Mike. You got to plug it in, bro. Okay. All right. It's been a long couple of days. I'm making this video after I drove to New Plymouth, got there at midnight, and then got back up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drove home. In our electric car, and I just thought I'd make it to Pew Pew, and as you know, the charger was broken, so I had to drive at 40 kilometers an hour for the next 100 kilometers and just made it to the next town. It was literally an hour ago I got back. So it's probably not a good time to record this. That tree's probably going to catch fire. But it's never caught fire yet, and it's still growing. The thing is that the light looks like it's on. I got no means to edit this, so this is what it is. Just make sure the entrance of that's not too bad. Where it goes in there. When you pull the thing out, make sure you remember where it goes back in. But I'll do another little, I'll just keep this video going. There we go. If I cover it. Okay, so see, it starts straight away where before it just, there's no way it would go. It just will not go. Now, signs it's going to do that is it smokes. It's tricky on this burner here under the under the games room, because it doesn't breathe very well, and it always puffs just a little bit of smoke, which sucks. But I think it's got quite a bit better since we put the flue fan in. But yeah, so it's been pretty reliable too. So I'm going to plug that back in there, and it should be right. It should be right. It shouldn't need touching for a month, maybe even two. But I'll put it back in, show you how I do that. It's quite simple. I think the best thing to do is just sit that down on the ground now that we know it goes. I think it's pretty good. The sun's out. So the thing is, I've made it so it can all be moved out. I've got a solenoid coming for here too, so don't freak out about that. That solenoid burnt out for some ridiculous reason and caused me a bit of a headache, but it's okay. It's coming, and that just sits up in there, and I'll do that when I get back. But to bypass a solenoid like this, to do that, don't you put it in if you see it turn up, because to bypass it, I've taken the inside of the solenoid out so that the oil can bypass it. I know it doesn't look very good, but it has another solenoid on the box by here, so it's not like it's on its own. Turn it on. And it's going to pop and bang a bit because there's oil in the chamber because it's tried to start, and but you can see how easy it is to get it in and out, and that's really important. So when you come here, if there's an issue with it, you just need to turn it off, grab it, and it just comes out like that, and you can sit it in your up there on that block and get it really comfortable, and make sure you sit that piece on the actual solid part of the burner so we can remove the diffuser without, so the diffuser doesn't take the weight, the burner takes the weight. If that makes any sense. I'm going to tell you, I know you're going to think I'm a pain in the ass, but it keeps things really simple. That's why this is shaped like this. Not that I had it built, but so it goes up and under. It doesn't actually sit on that, so then I can take that off and on, because that can be a real hassle. Okay, so I've made the burner as accessible as possible. It doesn't look like it's bolted in here, but I find that if I pull it back out a bit, it burns better and it smokes less, and that's just life. I've never bolted it in. I did originally bolt it in, but it's just it just works better like this. I mean, if it was a proper boiler, a proper heating chamber suited for this a bit more, then but it's not. It is what it is. I'm just grateful it goes. So it's hard to know whether this burner's smoking excessively because it's oil being built up inside the chamber, which is probably what I'm hoping it is, and it's going to take 15 minutes to get rid of it, maybe 10-15 minutes. But if it's still smoking like this, bro, it's not good. So I have to pull the burner apart and make sure it's cleaned out in there, which I did not that long ago, so I'm a little bit confused. Running beautiful there. It's just smoke is clearing now. Notice it's not billowing out everywhere. See, it takes a while, and it's not pleasant. It goes through the building, it sucks. So yeah. But that's it there, it runs really nice, 12.5 on the air. There's just this little dial here, just where the screwdriver goes, but I think just leave that alone, alright? Just not touch that. In fact, the idea is not to touch anything, but and the air where I got it here, just be careful when you pull it out, you don't bump stuff. The burner itself is running really nicely in there. It doesn't sound like it's fluttering. So if you're doing it and you can hear it just fluttering, like you'll know. And then there's a time when it just runs really smooth, and you think you've got it. And I'm hoping this is the time. And it is. And it's running really nicely. Like there's no smoke at all. The oil that's in there is burnt off, because what happens is it's got dirty and it's just the oil in there's igniting and causing problems. It's not igniting, sorry, and it's spraying everywhere. Now the burner's going good, it's heating it and it's catching fire. I know this isn't 100% ideal for now. It works really well until I come back next time. Like it actually works nicely. really seen it give me any reason in 20 years to be unsafe. I've dripped a little bit of oil over the time, but in 20 years it's not too bad. We'll get it all cleaned up. Like new. But you know, in 20 years there's still a bit of grass growing here. A little bit here. It's kind of not dead. And I'm pretty sure I zapped that with a flame burner the other day, last time. Alright, good luck with it, mate. Just before I go, I'm going to have a look at, show you something here. The chimney. Okay, now you can see how black it is up there. That's because it hasn't been running right, and now it's looking really good. Where before it was billowing a bit of smoke, and that's when we went and did it. Now you leave that running for a while, and it'll go grey. Like this one up here, I don't know if you can see it, but it runs beautiful grey, and that's how we need it to run. Sorry about the wind. Isn't that beautiful? That's how we need it to run. That nice grey, and that's what they can do. They do that. They do that quite regularly. It's just occasionally when they get a little bit of grit in there and stop running right. Beautiful day, eh?